After 10 long, hard and meaningless weeks, our beloved Champions League will be finally back very soon with the knockout stages. And that also means UCL Fantasy makes its comeback right now, right here. Oh my god, did I miss this. So let's get straight into the team. Which players am I picking and which players am I kicking for the knockout stages, round of 16? First of all, this is how we did last time, match day 6 of the group stages. And I have to say, this was my worst match day this whole season. Match day 1 was bad as well, 54 points here. Then match day 2 to 5 were great for me, and match day 6 was, yeah, not great. I mean, the rotation really killed me here. Have I ever mentioned that I hate rotation? Only Danjuma, Grimaldo, Christensen, maybe Adeyemi, those guys did well, but the rest... And that took me really far down in our FBArmy league table. Oh man, that hurts. Out of 5,000 members roundabout, I was close to top 100 in my own league, but now I'm 379th, and that is really... FC Griso, Ray FC, and Anurak 11, you guys are the top 3 right now. You better try to keep that up until the end of the season, as the winner gets 250 euros, second place gets 150 euros, and third place gets 100 euros. And 69th place, as I said, gets 69 euros, of course. So if you haven't joined yet, it is completely free, and the link is in the description. And overall, I went down to 26,000 out of 1.25 million members. I really want to get into the top 5k overall and top 100 in the FBArmy league. So let's take on that mission right now by building our team for the knockout stage. You see, we have 112.1 million euros left. Why is that? Well, first of all, we used to have 100 million when we first started the game. For the knockout stages, UEFA grants us another free 5 million, so everyone has 105 million. But due to the fact that over the course of the group stages, our players rose in value, you know, the values are updated regularly based on performances, we made another 7.1 million euros profit with our players, and I think we can build a pretty nice team with this money. As always, we'll start from the back and work our way up to the attack. Now, the goalkeeper. Who am I going for? I did have Edouard Mendy last time, who ended up not even playing. And this time I was considering him again. I do think among all those first leg games, Chelsea at home at the Bridge against Lille are the most likely to get a clean sheet. I just had 6.3 million euros left for the goalie, so there was just not enough money. It was really close, but I went for another goalie then. I already typed him in. Alisson Becker from Liverpool, 200,000 euros cheaper, and he's only selected by 4% for a reason, probably because Liverpool, the Reds, are coming to San Siro to Inter, and that is not certainly an easy fixture. You know what, when I was in Milano the other week watching the Supercoppa Italiana Inter against Juventus, I swore to myself, you can also see that in the video, Liverpool are coming there to thrash Inter. I mean, that is not a really rational reasoning, but in general, I do believe Liverpool will go through anyway. Inter are really strong, but the Reds are something else, especially in the Champions League this season, and I also think they will win at San Siro. Could imagine a 1-2-0 win. I'm just sugarcoating my decision here. No, I'm picking Alisson Becker. It's gonna be risky, but I don't know, it's a gut feeling here, and on fantasy sometimes you have to listen to your gut. I'm doing that. Alisson Becker is our goalie, and now we'll get to the defense, where I am backing a certain other English team. Dumfries is not gonna be there. No, I don't want you, bro. Instead, I am going for Antonio Rüdiger as my first defensive choice. 5.9 million, not cheap for a defender, but I think this is a no-brainer choice. Selected by 19%. He also didn't play here. Well, that was pure rotation. Against Lille, though, I already said it, I do believe Chelsea will keep a clean sheet at the Bridge. They have already kept quite a few clean sheets in this Champions League season, 4 out of 6, and if you're going for a Chelsea clean sheet, there is no way around their best defender, Antonio Rüdiger. And I'm also going for a second Chelsea defender, and that guy was already there in match day 6, Andreas Christensen. I'm recovering you, bro. 200,000 cheaper than Antonio Rüdiger, selected by 8%. He scored against Malmö, and he's also mostly better than Rüdiger in terms of ball recoveries, and that is really an important aspect in UCL Fantasy, unlike other fantasy games where I think that doesn't even count, if I'm not mistaken, but here it does count, so those defenders are always valuable. Rüdiger, yeah, he also recovers a few balls, but Christensen is even better in that aspect, so this combo combined 11.6 million euros, I think no-brainer option, and I did expect even more percent here to select them. I mean, I'll take it, because I think they're gonna score very well. Thiago Silva now, on the other hand, I'm not picking, because I don't want to rely so much on Chelsea. I do trust in them, but I also have other good options, and defender number 3 for me is going to be, same price as Christensen, Dayo Upamecano from Bayern. Now, the Bavarians are facing Salzburg in Austria, and I was unsure about this pick for a long time, because, you know, Bayern are not really renowned for their great defense, rather for their attack, and Salzburg are actually renowned for their great attack. But this season, in the Champions League, it's been different. Bayern have only conceded 3 goals in the group stages, and Salzburg didn't score that much. I wanted to bring in at least one Bayern defender. I actually wanted to go for Niklas Süle there, because he's even cheaper and has scored more points so far. So at first glance, he might look like the better choice, but Süle is currently arguing with the Bayern bosses. He's not going to sign a new contract. So there is some tension between him and the club, and I am just not 100% sure if he will play in that game. And Upamecano is 100% set, so I'd rather go for him then. Now, those are 3 center backs, all very defensively minded. Now, I did have Grimaldo last time, also a fullback. I'm going for another fullback, or should we even say midfielder, because this guy is very offensive. You can already see him here. The most points scored so far by a defender, Joao Cancelo from Manchester City. He is one of the most expensive defenders. Fullbacks are always rather more expensive in fantasy than center backs, and he's selected by many, but I think it's worth it, honestly. Not because he scored the most points, it's just because he's playing Sporting. That is really decisive for me. Sporting a great team, don't get me wrong, but this UCL season, they've been like based on vibes. They've scored a lot, I think 14 goals, but also conceded 10 in 6 games, so I don't think they will get a clean sheet, even though it's at home, but they're not going to get a clean sheet against Man City. And you know, City score their goals from all angles, and a lot of that is actually also being created by Joao Cancelo. Every time City put up a game where they score 3 or 4, it's very rare that Cancelo is not at least involved in one of those. So again, I'm really hopeful with this pick, even though not cheap, but I think it will pay off. Joao Cancelo, that completes my starting defense. Now we'll get to the midfield, then the attackers, and then the bench. My first midfield pick is no less than the best player of UCL Fantasy this season, Leroy Sané. 65 points, the most of every single player so far. If you want to double down on Bayern, I do have one defender, but you're usually going to do it in their attack, because that's their biggest strength. They're arguably the best attacking side in the world. And Leroy Sané, as much stick as he got last season and last summer, this season, crucial player for them. It's just insane. He's already scored 5 goals and given 4 assists in 6 games. And I think he's still undervalued. 9.4 million. He is literally cheaper than Eden Hazard and Jadon Sancho. Why? I have no idea. I'm going to take it because that's a bargain. Leroy Sané definitely going in my team. And next up, we have a midfielder that was already here, Arnaud Danjuma. Another bargain in my opinion. He's the 3rd highest scoring midfielder in the UCL. Has been very consistent, really. We can see here. The only time where he did not assist or score was against Man United. In the other 5 games, he always at least scored or assisted, and that is just really, really consistent for me. I'm gonna go for it, especially, now it gets tricky, especially because they're facing Juventus. You know, I love Juventus. I hope they win the Champions League, my favorite UCL team, but I just can't believe it. You know, they had a great transfer window, but I still think that Villarreal will either go through against Juventus or give them a really, really tough time. Especially at home, I think they will score against Juventus, and this might be some sort of counter jinx that I'm gonna try to do. No, I literally believe Villarreal will make it really hard for Juventus. And Arnaud Danjuma, for this price, 6.8 million. I said Sané is a bargain, but this guy, value to money, is even a bigger bargain, and he's only selected by 3%. 97% of you guys don't see this. Open your eyes. I don't want to force you to pick anyone, but I'm going to pick him for sure. Next up, we complete our collection of top 3 midfielders this season so far. Mo Salah is coming in. The comeback of the king. You know, I picked this guy when the UCL first started. I had him from matchday 1 to 5 all the way, and then sadly on matchday 6 I decided for this guy here, Bruno Fernandes, and that was after all a mistake, but I got great points from him during the first 5 match days. Now I want to bring him in again. You know, I also said Liverpool will beat Inter at San Siro. I do believe that. He's a really mainstream pick, probably among the most selected players in the game. 38%, that's really a lot, but you can't only go for these differentials or secret gems. You also need a few superstars that are going to guarantee you points, and even though I'm not the only one with Mo Salah, it's just a player that I want in my team, and I just feel safer with Mo. I mean, I really do, because he's not going to let me down. Insert anti-jinx doggo here. Okay, the last midfielder in the starting 11 is going to be, oh, he's also there. Top 5, Riyad Mahrez. Yeah, so we have 4 of the top 5 midfielders so far in the UCL in the team now. Riyad Mahrez, why am I going for him? I did explain that earlier with Joao Cancelo. City will score. I'm like 100% certain about this. And Riyad Mahrez is also only selected by 8%, actually less than I expected. But just like Joao Cancelo, it's very rare that Riyad Mahrez doesn't get involved in those goals. He also turned up last knockout stages, I remember that. And I really think there's no one better when you're betting on City goals, because they don't have a striker yet. They're signing Alvarez. For now, it's their midfielders, and Joao Cancelo, I kind of count him as a midfielder, that get the assists and the goals. So Riyad Mahrez also a choice that I'm very, very confident with. So if you have to decide if you're spending on Mo Salah or keep it a little bit cheaper with Mahrez or Sané, I would definitely go for Sané or Mahrez. But overall, I'm so happy with this midfield, really. I think it couldn't have got any better. Pedro Gonçalves, I did trust a lot, of course, but against Man City, he might do something, but I'm just not that sure. Jorginho is also a great option. He's 6.7 million. In FPL, he's useless, but in UCL Fantasy, he's also good because of the ball recoveries. He gets a lot of those. So if you're on a budget, you can also go for Jorginho there. And a really cheap budget option is Noah Okafor, 5.4 million. He's not going to go through. Probably he's playing Bayern, but if you're really saving money, he will play for sure, and he might contribute contribute something. So lots of ideas for you there, but I'm going for these 4. And now we move on to probably the most exciting part, my 2 attackers here up front. And as I told you before, I have a lot of confidence in Bayern, especially up front against Salzburg. So who am I going for? It's obvious. The most expensive player in the whole game, Robert Lewandowski, 12 million. That hurts my pocket, but I do have the money left. And if you tell me Robert Lewandowski won't score at least 2 goals in these 2 games, I won't believe you. As simple as that. How likely is it that he blanks? Not likely at all. He's selected by 45%, but just like Mo Salah, he's just one of those players that you want to have in your team, especially with a supposedly easy fixture compared to the other ones, which Salzburg simply is. I think you don't need a long reasoning for this choice. It's just obvious. Now the second striker though, a slightly less obvious pick. He's not in the top scoring forwards so far. Where is he even? Here, 25 points. Thomas Müller, I'm going for him. 9.6 million euros. That's not the greatest choice value for money wise in terms of points scored so far, but I just really want to double up on Bayern up front and this partnership against Salzburg. I've got Lewandowski, Müller and Sané. I think those 3, they're going to cause havoc up front. Overall, I think this starting 11, yeah, this is some tasty stuff. And we still have to get to the bench though, because some of these will also play a big role in my team. The backup goalie though, I can assure you, will not. Chao Min Kelleher. That sounds Chinese and I think it's totally wrong. Wien Kelleher. This is my guy. There's one reason why I picked him, which I think is obvious. He's cheap. You can, of course, also go for 2 medium price keepers or even 2 high price keepers. But I'm going this route because I just want my strength in the rest of the team. I do want to afford this starting 11 and the subs are also not that cheap. And for this, I'm sacrificing my backup goalie option, which I think is a risk that I'm willing to take. Now, who is our third attacker? And that is no less than another big name. Can I find him here? Vinicius Jr. 34 points. And he suddenly moved into the starting 11. I think that's because he plays on the first match day. Yes, he does. So that does make sense. And why did I pick him? I'm just a big fan of Vini this season. I think we all are. Against PSG, I do think Real Madrid will advance. I'm not sure if they will win in Paris. Mais je crois qu'ils vont gagner. Okay, I switched to French. I think they will go through, and I'm also expecting to keep Vini then in the second leg, unless he gets injured, of course. For 8.7 million, he's a great value for money. When you look at other players like Lukaku, who's 10.6, and he's nowhere near as good as Vini this season. Morata, who's 9.8. That shows us, in my opinion, how great of a choice Vinicius Jr. is. Alright, last midfield choice then. He's from that certain yellow team where I already picked a player, Etienne Capoue. This is again a rather secret gem because only 2% have selected him. Beast in ball recoveries. Okay, this one game against Young Boys where he scored and gave an assist and recovered like 150,000 balls surely sugarcoated his overall points. And I don't expect the most from him because these 4 guys are going to score me more, I believe. But for only 6 million euros, and again, the fact in mind that I think Villarreal will do very well at home against Juventus, I'm going with Capoue right now. It might still change, but right now I just don't see a better midfield option for this price. You can tell me your suggestions if you have anyone else. Okay, and the very last choice here in my team, a defender. I only have 5.3 million euros left. Once I put the price here on affordable, it wasn't really a tough choice for me anymore. Nicolas Otamendi. And now you might be thinking, yo, Fiago, are you crazy? Ajax will beat the hell out of Benfica. I'm not quite sure about that. I think it's actually going to be way closer than most of Ajax games so far have been. Since if we look at Benfica, they haven't only beaten Barca here, and that was remarkable, but they also kept 4 clean sheets in 6 games. And the only games where they conceded a lot, to be fair, was against Bayern and against Bayern. And what I also like, Otamendi recovers balls. 6 balls recovered here, 8 balls recovered here, 16 recovered here, and another 4 here. Also 7 when they lost 4-0 to Bayern. So even if Ajax win there, which I'm not sure about in the first place, in Portugal, Otamendi, just at his age, I think he's like 33 now, still a top center back. Not quite good enough for Man City anymore maybe, but for Benfica, he's a class player. So these are my picks after all, and they leave us with a whooping 100,000 euros left. We maxed out our budget quite well here. And this is how the Fiago 69ers will go into this round of 16. You know, you always want to make sure those 4 on the bench here do play on the latter days of the round. They all play in the second week, so I do have, well, 3 subs because this guy's not going to play. Also very important, unlike the group stages where there was only 2 days per match day, basically, the Tuesday and the Wednesday, this time there is 4 match days. The first 4 games will be Tuesday and Wednesday in the first week, and the last 4 games will be Tuesday and Wednesday in the second week. So that gives you 4 options to change captaincy, to make substitutions. Riyad Mahrez plays on the Tuesday of the first week, so if he blanks, then I can easily go to Thomas Müller or Lewandowski, a Bayern player at least, who play on the Wednesday of the first week. Then I have players players playing on the Tuesday of the second week, and even players for the Wednesday of the second week. You definitely want to line up a mix of players playing on all 4 days. And there we go. The Champions League is back. I'm so hyped. I am back with UCL Fantasy. You guys will be back. If you still haven't joined the league, make sure you do so using the first link in the description. It's totally free. I pay out prizes out of my own pocket. Just always keep in mind one rule. I don't allow anyone in the league who's better than me, because I still want to get my own prizes. With that being said, Champions League Fantasy Fiago is out. We'll see each other after the match day. As always, let me know in the comments what you think about my team and tell me your team if you want to reveal it. Enjoy the football and peace.